We want to talk today about homestead and farm etiquette, going both ways, whether the buyer or the seller, whether visiting or not. If you make an appointment with another homesteader, that's the first thing we want to talk about. Keep it. We have a lot of problems with this where people will make an appointment and they won't show up, or they'll make an excuse. If you break the appointment, there are some things in life you can't help, and that's whatever. But if you break the appointment, it leads to another appointment. And we have a policy of 2 strikes and you're out. That means 2 appointments we've given you and you didn't show up. No call, no show is sometimes a 1 strike. We won't deal with that person again. Many people will make a lot of excuses why. Some are true, some are not true. If it's possible, just keep the appointment. The homesteader has gone out of their way to accommodate you. We have right now an appointment for somebody to pick up some animals, and we have 26 communications back and forth with her. And she's already broken 1 appointment and is probably going to break the next one too. So it's a lot to sell a few animals. And you really need to be respectful of the other homesteaders' time. They've set aside time to wait and meet you. There was one little goat that was supposed to be sold to a lady, and she was supposed to come at 5 o'clock that night. And then there was another little goat being sold earlier in the day, and it was a bottle baby. And that lady had wanted the bottle baby that was on reserve for after they came and went. And because we trusted that the lady who was closer by was going to come through, we didn't sell it to her. And then the lady fudged out. And it took that little goat a year to find a new home because the other buyer was then gone, who was actually a better home. So we kept our end of the bargain, but she didn't keep hers, and it cost that little animal. And it really is not a good situation to put the homesteader in, or the animal. The other thing we want to talk about is if you make an agreement, let your word be your bond. Don't go back on it. If you agree on the price of an animal, for instance, or anything else, don't go back on it after it's been agreed to. We had somebody come and she had agreed on a price of a little lamb named Moses before coming to pick him up, and she got here and started complaining about the price and telling me how her friend told her she should have been able to get it cheaper, and trying to see if we'll go down. And no, you need to agree to do what you agreed to, because it puts the homesteader in a bad position, and it's not fair, because they're already there and you're trying to change the price. You could have sold it to somebody else, perhaps at full price. I am not against making deals with people, but if they've already agreed to a deal, don't turn it around and try to do something else. So another thing is be as honest as you can be about the condition of a product or animal you're selling. That includes age, health, etc. You want to be the kind of seller you would want to buy from. So if you're trying to sell older hens, laying hens, inform the buyer of that. We had one buyer that came and took one look at the chickens we had selected for him, and he says, "These are old and picked on, aren't they?" Well, first of all, none of them were picked on, and none of them were old. And I explained to him that there is a way to tell how old a chicken is and how well it's laying, chiefly. And I said, nobody will ever dupe you again. This is how you tell. So you can go look at our video and see how you tell if a hen is laying good or not. But do be as honest as you can, because lots of people are out there doing that, and you don't want to be the kind of buyer or seller that you would want to buy from. So be as honest as you can. Ask before bringing your farm dog out of your car at a homestead. We leave ours in the car, and sometimes at home if we don't know the situation, because you don't know if maybe their farm dog is loose and it's going to have a problem with your dog in the car and whatever. So that's just something that we've learned over time, is there's lots of people want to bring their dog out, and with some dogs that's fine, and with some homesteads that's fine. But, just as you coming into somebody else's situation, be courteous with your dog. because, you know, there's, like with dairy animals, they spook easy and then you lose milk production. Be fair in your prices on your animals. We believe in charging what the market will bear, okay? Look around at your competition, see what they're charging. There's always going to be free and really, really cheap animals. And of course, there's always going to be the other end of the spectrum. But kind of find the middle ground of what everybody else is doing and what the worth of the animal is in your location and charge that so that you're fair to the buyer and that you also haven't, you know, priced out people that should have been able to afford it. And be willing to negotiate with people who can't afford it so that you're giving them a deal and enabling them to get in on homesteading. One thing that we've found is be open-handed with the knowledge that you've gathered. There's a lot of people in this world who are closed-fisted with knowledge. I don't know why, but if you've heard something or know something, be happy to share it with people so that they will be able to pass on the knowledge to somebody else. Make sure it's good knowledge. You know, experiential knowledge is okay too, but make sure it's good knowledge. Make sure you know somewhat what you're talking about, as much as you can, because there's always more we're learning as we go. So another thing is be understanding of another homesteader's need to ask a deposit or a boarding fee or feed for that animal. You don't know what their situation is. So, for instance, last year I had a gentleman on the line that was supposed to purchase a pig and that he was going to harvest. And I informed him that it needed to be gone by such and such a date. And he said he would be here by such and such a date. And this was a egg customer, so this was somebody that I was going to continue to do business with. And he was down here when the pickup date was, but he didn't come. So then the next month he didn't come. And finally, I'm in a feed hardship because I've agreed to sell this animal at a discount to him, and I need it gone for feed purposes, economic purposes, and because I needed the space in the pen. And I finally called him and I told him, look, I'm going to have to do something else with this animal because you're not coming. And so you do want to be aware of what somebody's asked you to do, because you do not know what kind of situation they're in that led them to ask you that. If people want to preserve an animal, be sure you take a large enough deposit, half down to all down, so that the possible buyer isn't going to back out on you. This deposit should be non-refundable, because some flaky people that we have had the displeasure of working with have cost an animal a good home in the fallout. So do try to do that. It looks out for you. It kind of commits the buyer, because there's a lot of people who say, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to buy that, and they never come through, and you've saved the animal for no particular reason when you could have found it a home. So deposits are not 100%. We've had people back out even after deposit, and they said they don't care about the deposit and whatever. So then we started charging a larger deposit to see if we could make them care. So the last thing we'll talk about is try not to be proud in homesteading. There are times when you need assistance. If assistance is offered in whatever format that it's offered in, it blesses the person that's offering. So don't be too proud to accept assistance, whatever that may be, whether it's product or monetary or help, whatever that is. And on your end, be open-handed but honest with your offer of assistance or resources. The Lord loves a cheerful giver. So don't say you are wanting to do something for them and you secretly are just kind of hoping maybe they'll say no. We've all done this in life in all different formats, but it's better for you and them if you mean it when you say it. And this has been Homestead and Farm Etiquette. We want everybody to farm with integrity as much as, of course, all of us can.